Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, today is going to be all the books that I've read throughout the month of March. And I didn't read a lot. I actually only read 3 books. I started one, but I finished it the beginning of April, and then I'm currently reading another book that I will show you guys as well. I really didn't read a whole lot, but I'm starting to get back into reading slowly. So to me, I'm still proud of the progress that I've made. My goal this year for 2022 is to get through 10 books, and so far I am about halfway there now, so I'm very proud of myself for that. And my birthday is actually coming up in about 2 weeks, and I did ask my boyfriend for a Kindle. I picked the book I want to read, I can purchase it, and I will have it within seconds right there at my fingertips. For us, our closest bookstore is Barnes & Noble, and it is an hour away. You can get books at like Target and some at Walmart, but they really don't have that great of a selection. I really want to do an unboxing video for you guys on that. Whether or not I do that, we'll see. But without further ado, let's just get into the video. So the first book that I read for the month of March is called As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. And it is actually the third book to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. There was 3 books. The first one is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And then I think the other one was like Good Girl Gone Bad or something like that. But yeah, this is the first book that I read for March. And let's see, it's about 500 pages. And I don't really know if I can like tell you guys what the book is really about without spoiling it, because it is the third book. But basically Pip is about to go to college in this book. I don't remember if she was in high school or not. I do believe it's like the summer between her graduating and her going to college. But basically this girl, she solves local crimes in like her community, and she makes a podcast about it, and she has like season 1 and season 2. And on her, like along her journey of solving these crimes, she gets herself into trouble, sometimes ends up getting herself hurt, and I can't really figure out how to like explain it without spoiling it. But I do have to say, I rate this book about a 4 out of 5. It was really good, but I do think it was much more slow paced than the other 2, and the author didn't really get to like the main point until like way later on. So I just felt like the book dragged on a lot. And this is the third book to the series. I can't really describe what goes on in this book without giving it away, but I do recommend everybody read this series if you like crime and murder mysteries. And the second book that I read is another murder mystery, and it is called One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. And I do have the second book for this as well, but I will not be reading it. So this book is about, this one I can actually like explain because it's the first one, but there was 5 kids that ended up going into detention, and only 4 of them made it out, and it is these 4 right here. And basically the whole book, they are questioned because 5 of them go in and 1 kid dies while he's in detention. And so the whole book is them trying to figure out what happened, knowing that none of them killed him or did anything to him. This takes place in high school, and they all did something to kind of like bully and like hurt this guy's feelings, the one that had passed away in detention. And I rate this book like a 3 out of 5. I didn't really enjoy it. One, I will tell you, it is one of the stories where it is, see how it says Addie right there, and then like the next chapter, it's Nate, his point of view. I'm not a huge fan of books that go in all these different directions with like different people's point of views. I'm not a huge fan of books like that. I did manage to read it and make it through it, and it was pretty good. The book was about 360 pages also, but I guess the ending just wasn't what I had expected at all, and there was no like big plot twist. It just kind of, I just felt it was very predictable in a way, and there wasn't a lot of character development or anything throughout this book, where throughout this series there was a lot of character development. I don't really care for the different like characters, like point of views, because you don't really get to see like the character development between like one specific character. And I will not be reading the second one, although I have purchased it. Like, not trying to put the book down or the author or anything like that. I just wasn't personally a fan of it, but I do recommend that you read it if you're into mystery books. And then the third book that I read is called It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm sure many of you have seen this book before. I did pick it up from Target, and I was super happy to find it there because I had heard that like so many good things about it. And there is 373 pages in this book, and let me just say, like, I will definitely, when I get my Kindle, I will definitely be looking for her other books. I only put this book down twice, and it was so good. I would rate it a 5 out of 5 stars. It kept me interested the entire time. The author really didn't drag the story on. New things kept happening, and it definitely ended the way that I wanted it to. The author kind of kept you like holding on and like kind of thinking that it was going to end a certain way, and it was kind of like, no, like, don't let it end that way. And then at the end, she throws you, like, hits you with that plot twist, and it ended exactly the way that I hoped it would. And there's just very good detail in here. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about this book at all, but basically there's this girl named Lily, and throughout the book, it's her present day life, but then it also talks about her like past life. And basically the dad was very abusive to the mother, so she grew up thinking that all men were, you know, mean to women and that she couldn't trust them and they were all mean, whatever. And when she was younger, there was a homeless boy that moved into an abandoned house next door, and she ends up helping to take care of him, and she ends up pretty much falling for him. And that's like in the past, and then in the present she meets this guy. What was his name again? His name's Ryle. The homeless boy's name was Atlas, and the present time she's with Ryle, she meets him, they end up getting together, it's like their whole love story. And then of course Atlas comes back into the picture, their paths end up crossing. But it's really, really good. I rate this a 5 out of 5 star for sure. I love this book, and I will for sure be looking for more of her books. Okay, so this next book I just finished not too long ago, and it is called The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell, and it is by Chris Colfer. And if any of you guys know who Chris Colfer is, that's him right there. Yes, he is from Glee. He plays Kurt. And so basically, I'm reading this book now. It is the second book to The Land of Stories, and I had these two on my bookshelf, and I realized like I've never read the second one, so I'm gonna reread the first one because I didn't remember anything that had happened in it anyways. So I was like, let's just reread it and then read the second one, because I found out recently that he has like a whole series to go with it. It's not just these two books. And back when I was younger and these books first came out, there was only 2 of them. So my plan is when I get my Kindle, or even if it's not on the Kindle, I'm going to order the rest of the series and read it. But basically, this book is about these 2 kids. They're twins, Alex and Connor. And basically, their grandmother and their dad tell them these fairy tale stories like their entire life, like stories that you and I know, like Snow White, Cinderella, stuff like that. And for their, like, I think it's their 12th birthday, their grandma gives them the dad's big storybook, and the dad actually passes away. In the beginning of the book, you find out he passed away, and so for their birthday, the grandma gives like his big fairy tale storybook to them, and they can't figure out why the book's humming and glowing, and the sister Alex is like dropping stuff through it, and she finds out like she can go there. And the brother barges through the door, and she ends up falling into the book. So he jumps in after her. And the whole book, like, they're stuck in the fairy tale world from that book. And basically they find out at the beginning they need to use the wishing spell to get back home. And in order to do that, they have to go through all the different kingdoms for the different fairy tales, like Red Riding Hood, you know, Cinderella, all of them, they have to go to like their different kingdoms to collect these different items in order to put the wishing spell together. And they obviously hit a bunch of obstacles on the way and stuff like that. But it's really, really good. And then at the end, there's a pretty big plot twist, and it's really good. Chris Colfer is an amazing author. I've read his other book, Struck by Lightning. That was really good. The ending's terrible, but the ending is meant to be butchered the way it was. It was so good. I would rate this book probably a 5 out of 5. I had no problems with it. It's very detail-oriented. Everything about it is just really good. It kept me interested the whole time, and it did take me about a week to read. There's about 440 pages, but I was reading it like in between calls at work and then a little bit after work, so it did take me a little longer to get through. These are the 4 books that I went ahead and read. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, and comment down below any video ideas or suggestions that you'd like to see, and I can try to make those videos happen. And I hope you guys are all doing very well, and I'll see you guys back next time.